we love, how we love. What have they and their world to do with us? They do not think that. Of course, he said, you disregard all this. It seems utterly foolish to me that their laws should fetter us, that we, at the first spring of life, should be tripped by their old engagements, their aimless institutions. Oh, we disregard it. I am yours. So far, yes. So far, isn't that all? But they, if they want to part us, what can they do? I don't know, but what can they do? Who cares what they can do, or what they will do? I am yours and you are mine. What is there more than that? I am yours and you are mine, forever. Do you think I will stop for their little rules, for their little prohibitions, their scarlet boards indeed, and keep from you? Yes, but still, what can they do? You mean, he said, what are we to do? Yes, we can go on. But if they seek to prevent us. He clenched his hands. He looked round as if the little people were already coming to prevent them, then turned away from her and looked about the world. Yes, he said, your question was the right one. What can they do? Here this little land, she said, and stopped. He seemed to survey it all. They are everywhere. But we might. Whither? We could go. We could swim the seas together. Beyond the seas. I had never been beyond the seas. There are great and desolate mountains amidst which we should see no more than little people, and there are remote and deserted valleys. There are hidden lakes and snow-girdled uplands untrodden by the feet of men. There, but to get there we must fight our way day after day through millions of mankind. It is our only hope. In this crowded land there is no fastness, no shelter. What place is there for us among these multitudes? They who are little can hide from one another, but where are we to hide? There is no place where we could eat, no place where we could sleep. If we fled, night and day they would pursue our footsteps. A thought came to him. There is one place, he said, even in this island. Where? The place our brothers have made over beyond there. They have made great banks about their house, north and south, and east and west. They have made deep pits and hidden places. And even now, one came over to me quite recently. He said, I did not altogether heed what he said then, but he spoke of arms. It may be, there, we should find shelter. For many days, he said after a pause, I have not seen our brothers. Dear, I have been dreaming. I have been forgetting. The days have passed, and I have done nothing but look to see you again. I must go to them and talk to them, and tell them of you and of all the things that hang over us. If they will help us, they can help us. Then indeed we might hope. I do not know how strong their place is, but certainly Coster will have made it strong. Before all this, before you came to me, I remember now, there was trouble brewing. There was an election. When all the little people settle things, by counting heads. It must be over now. There are threats against all our race that is but you. I must see our brothers. I must tell them all that has happened between us, and all that threatens now. 5. He did not come to their next meeting until she had waited some time. They were to meet that day about midday, in a great space of park that fitted into a bend of the river, and as she waited, looking ever southward under her hand, it came to her that the world was very still, that indeed it was broodingly still. And then she perceived that, spite of the lateness of the hour, her customary retinue of voluntary spies had failed her. Left and right, when she came to look, there was no one in sight, and there was never a boat upon the silver curve of the Thames. She tried to find a reason for this strange stillness in the world. Then, a grateful sight for her, she saw a young redwood far away over a gap in the tree, masses that bounded her view. Immediately the trees hid him, and presently he was thrusting through them and in sight again. She could see there was something different, and then she saw that he was hurrying unusually, and then that he limped. He gestured to her, and she walked towards him. His face became clearer, and she saw with infinite concern that he winced at every stride. She ran towards him, her mind full of questions and vague fear. He drew near to her and spoke without a greeting. "Are we to part?" he panted. "No," she answered. "Why? What is the matter?" "But if we do not part, it is now. What is the matter?" "I do not want to part," he said. "Only—" He broke off abruptly to ask, "You will not part from me?" She met his eyes with a steadfast look. "What has happened?" she pressed. "Not for a time?" "What time?" "Years, perhaps." "Part? No." "You have thought?" he insisted. "I will not part." She took his hand. "If this meant death, now, I would not let you go." "If it meant death," he said, and she felt his grip upon her fingers. He looked about him as if he feared to see the little people coming as he spoke, and then, "It may mean death." "Now tell me," she said. "They tried to stop my coming. How?" "And as I came out of my workshop where I make the food of the gods for the Caucasus to store in their camp, I found a little officer of police, a man in blue with white clean gloves, who beckoned me to stop. 'This way is closed,' said he. I thought little of that. I went round my workshops to where another road runs west, and there was another officer. 'This road is closed,' he said, and added, 'all the roads are closed.' And then I argued with him a little. 'They are public roads,' I said. 'That's it,' said he. 'You spoil them for the public.' 'Very well,' said I. 'I'll take to the fields.' And then up leapt others from behind a hedge and said, 'These fields are private.' 'Curse your public and private,' I said. 'I am going to my princess.' And I stooped down and picked him up very gently, kicking and shouting, and put him out of my way. In a minute all the fields about me seemed alive with running men. I saw one on horseback galloping beside me, and reading something as he rode, shouting it. He finished and turned and galloped away from me, head down. I couldn't make it out, and then behind me I heard the crack of guns. Guns! Guns, just as they shoot at the rats. The bullets came through the air with a sound like things tearing. One stung me in the leg. And you? Came on to you here, and then left them shouting and running and shooting behind me. And now, it is only the beginning. They mean that we shall part. Even now they are coming after me. We will not. No, but if we will not part, then you must come with me to our brothers.' 'Which way?' she said. 'To the east. Yonder is the way my pursuers will be coming. This then is the way we must go, along this avenue of trees. Let me go first, so that if they are waiting—' He made a stride, but she had seized his arm. 'No!' cried she. 'I come close to you, holding you. Perhaps I am royal, perhaps I am sacred. If I hold you, would God be we could fly with my arms about you. It may be. They will not shoot at you.' She clasped his shoulder and seized his hand as she spoke. She pressed herself nearer to him. 'It may be they will not shoot you,' she repeated, and with a sudden passion of tenderness he took her into his arms and kissed her cheek. For a space he held her. 'Even if it is death,' she whispered. She put her hands about his neck and lifted her face to his. 'Dearest, kiss me once more.' He drew her to him. Silently they kissed one another on the lips, and for another moment clung to one another. Then, hand in hand, and she striving always to keep her body nearer his, they set forward, if haply they might reach the camp of refuge the sons of Chosr had made, before the pursuit of the little people overtook them. And as they crossed the great spaces of the park behind the castle there came horsemen galloping out from among the trees and vainly seeking to keep pace with their giant strides, and presently ahead of them were houses, and men with guns running out of the houses. At the sight of that, though he sought to go on and was ever even disposed to fight and push through, she made him turn aside towards the south. As they fled, a bullet whipped by them overhead. End of Book 3, Chapter 2 of The Food of the Gods and How It Came to Earth. Recording by Alex C. Talander, Davis, California. www.alexctalander.com